goal. So I agree with that. So now that we have our attorney sitting here, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to become an attorney, or is it a lawyer or attorney? Because I get them confused.
No, they're the same. You can
Okay.
use them
Okay.
interchangeable.
Okay.
So I grew up a little girl in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio,
Oh.
and stayed real close to my mama and daddy throughout high school and college, and then met a man from South Africa during apartheid in college, and began to have a real focus, a real understanding of what apartheid meant, not only what it meant from a South African specific situation, but also what it meant to African Americans, Africans in the diaspora. So from that, I was trying to figure out, I had majored in English because I love to read. And so I have like this love for English, and then I'm being pulled towards South Africa and everything that was happening with the diamond mines there, and the fighting, the children who didn't want to speak Afrikaans, and I was watching this, and I said, there's got to be some way this meshes, and I can really be involved for the rest of my life. This was a lifetime commitment. So in a lot of ways, I think I married the struggle, because I really got it. I really, visited South Africa, and then Nelson Mandela became a hero of mine. Of course, in the States, Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as Malcolm were great leaders. Fannie Lou Hamer, just all of those. So I was carrying on in a way in my mind, a tradition that was bigger than me, that was going to live on for generations. And the people that I saw that were actively doing that were lawyers. So I followed suit.
So how was your journey? How was that road with the school and the training and the...
Law school was hard.
Okay.
Law school was tough. Law school is pretty cutthroat, and you really have to think on your feet, and everyone is trying to get in the upper percentiles, and you have to study every day, all the time. So I put in the time, I put in the work, and after I graduated, I said, there's no way I'm going to be a lawyer.
After you, so how long did it take you to go to school and studying and all of that? How many years?
So after college, which was 4 years, I did 3 years. We wound up getting married. He became a doctor. I became a lawyer. We went to Miami where we could do that together. Okay. And that, so it was it was 7 years total. Okay. Total a 7-year commitment. And yeah, that was really hard. And so I didn't want, after law school, I had this image of lawyers who weren't really, I don't know, I wasn't meeting the radical lawyers. Mm-hmm. And so there were these people that were playing at doing good, and they were dressed up real cute and, looking real cute. And I couldn't really figure out what they were doing. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be in an office, in a suit, with some high heels, maybe going to court, arguing for something I don't really believe. I mean, it was like hard. And then I found Amnesty International, which is a non-for-profit that is, it's an international non-for-profit. And they said, where do you want to go? We have an office in, I had gone to school in Nairobi during the Rwandan crisis. Remember that genocide? I was over there during all of that. And so I was talking to people, the Hutus and the Tutsis from each side. And, God allowed me just a wonderful journey, and to be able to understand that conflict. Coincidentally, that was happening internationally. From my perspective, it was the most important thing that was happening that year. While O.J. Simpson, we were watching O.J. Simpson in the U.S. with his Bronco
going down.
That were going like the same time, right? It was like really weird. Like I'd be calling home and I'd be like, "Do you guys know that like there in Rwanda there's a crisis and 1 million people are being killed?" Blah blah. And my family would be saying, "Did you know about O.J. Simpson?" Because
we're watching the Bronco go down the expressway. We're just like this. It's on every channel, and you just sitting there for like Really?
Really?
Because I remember doing that. And
I know.
if he was going down the expressway right now, I would be doing what I need to do. And no way I'd be watching him go down the expressway.
Right.
But at that time, that
It
was
was important.
that was
It was important. I mean, that is the power of media. Media tells us what's important. But when you get a chance to travel internationally, you learn that we're only getting a small perspective. I just got back from Cuba, and when I turned on the television, I learned more about the Black Panther Party and what was going on in Oakland, California in the 80s than I ever learned here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so deep. So, with Amnesty allowed me to organize. I organized against Shell, some other companies that I thought were doing some negative things and really wanted to bring attention to it. And then from there, I kind of took that international human rights and went into civil rights, started in with a couple of law firms, Standish Willis and Associates, represented some high-level Black Panther Party members, and then I don't know, Aaron Patterson, who was like a freedom fighter in Chicago. And from there, really started to realize, wait a minute, some of these companies, they might have more to do with human rights than individuals have to do with human rights. Like, have to go behind the scenes and look at who's pushing this agenda and how exactly is that working. So I went back and kind of regrouped and said, maybe I'll go back and do an LLM, which is a master's in law. Did that for 2 years down at John Marshall, and really look behind and see, how can I affect these companies?
I love John Marshall. I love John Marshall.
Yeah, it's a good school.
So if you had to think about your whole experience over these years, 17 years? 18 years. What case stands out to you the most, and why?
It has to be the case of Aaron Patterson. Aaron Patterson was a freedom fighter in the Chicagoland area, and really was standing up for what he believed, but it was really political. Okay. So it was at a time where it's hard to be political in the federal courts, and I was a federal defense lawyer, and when the case happened and the news started coming to my house, that was a little bit tough. Being on the radio, how to handle media. But, when you're a newbie to having a microphone in your face and cameras, shining on you, and now you're the spotlight, but it's supposed to be your client that's the spotlight. That was a little bit difficult. You need help. And
I'd be like, try me.
So you be ready.
I'd be like, try me, bring it. What else you got? Next. I'd be like, next. No. But I understand, because it's not in your scope, so you're not used to that.
And they don't teach you that in law school,
right? Have you ever had a case where you attain you and you had your doubts whether they were innocent or guilty? And so, how did you handle that?
No, somebody slid me $20,000.
Shut your mouth, girl. Where my bail at?
I said, thank you, but no, thank you. We don't do that.
They just slid it on. They just so that y'all come in the office, sit down, and y'all shake hands. You say, have a seat, and then they said, well, look, handle this. They said, look, Demitrus, I'm guilty, but I'm really.
No, he didn't say he was guilty.
He just slid the money. So that right there was. Wow.
I think, it's interesting when you're hiring counsel, sometimes what the counsel looks like is really important. So, from how I'm wearing my hair that day to if I want to wear one of my little girlfriend wigs, it really depends. If I need high heels on, I work it. I understand the system that I'm in.
Now, when you say you work it, are you working it for the benefit of the client?
Whoever. Like one time I had a jury. I needed the jury's eyes on me. Not the client, not anybody else. I had probably 10 other lawyers. I needed them focused on me. I need for you to listen to what I'm saying, because you need, at the end of this, you need that judgment to come to me. I was clear about it. So I wore red. And don't you know, the next day, all the jurors had on red. And I said, oh, this is working.
Are you serious?
This is working.
We talked about red lipstick, last week?
Oh, really?
that women, do you feel more powerful with wearing I'm not gonna go buy me some red lipstick now,
Yeah,
a
it
red
just
suit or something.
it just
So
depends.
and you know what, and so tell us the difference between just regular law versus international law.
So there's the criminal law and there's a civil law. Our system is based on stare decisis, our civil system, so and our criminal system. So we look at cases that have happened before, and then we decide how this case should be decided. So it's based on what's happened before. Other countries don't do that. Like in Cuba, they just have the statute and they go by the statutes. Um, but so you have the criminal and the civil. Within the civil, you could have things like arbitration, where there are three panels and they're deciding your case. You could have a full jury, or you could have a bench trial. But in the civil, you're dealing with basically money, either money or someone needs to change their way of doing something or give something back. In the criminal, it's the person, the individual, the defendant against the state.
Wow. I don't learn so much from you. I feel like, wow. So this kind of ties in with my topic for the show. Passion, purpose, what do people want? How do you figure out what you really want to do
Beyond
in
that,
life? I know for
I
me
was
growing up,
always fascinated with the stray cats. So I always wanted to save the cats. And then it became I wanted to save the neighborhood. And then I was always saving. So there was some cause, something I was saving. So I've started to realize this about myself as I learned from like self-help books and teachings. I think a little different. I think that money's always there for me.
I
And
do
I,
too. I
I
think like
always
you think.
literally have thought that. So my focus has always been, how do I utilize the money to help someone else or to help something else? And so I'm kind of a causes person. I have to be careful that I don't get wrapped up in too many causes. But my cause right now, my passion right now is my organization that Joel helped me to really get off of the ground, and it's called TEEP. It's the Evans Exoneration Project, and we are having a fundraiser August 1st.
July, August, somewhere
Okay,
around
we're
there.
setting the date, but we want to do a fundraiser for this year. But it's to help those who are incarcerated, and normally they're like incarcerated for 20 years or more. So people have forgotten about them, but they have maintained their innocence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's some of the hardest cases because you're looking at what goes wrong from every level. So that's, I mean, that's a passion of
And so I hope
mine.
you guys got
And
some
so
good
the
nuggets. I
money.
want to thank Demitrus Evans, the sergeant down here, for joining us. He knew I was going to really put him on the spot, but I did. And thank you to all the listeners. Please share the broadcast. If you have a topic that you would like to see discussed here on Making Waves with Ms. Darci every Tuesday and Thursday, please hit me up on Facebook or call me at 708-304-3422. If you would like to advertise a commercial, your product, service, or brand here, or would like for us to come out and cover your event or your play, or you got something coming on, we would love to be a part of that. So give us a call, email me, and we would love to be of service to you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be safe, and we're out. And my quote for going out: build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs, and that would be me. And we're out.